President Biden's reckless open border policies have created an ongoing crisis at our southern border, as record levels of illegal immigrants and deadly drugs pour into Texas. Texas is taking a historic action to respond to this border crisis. In 2021, Governor Greg Abbott launched Operation Lone Star to start deploying the Texas National Guard and Texas Department of Public Safety to the southern border. Operation Lone Star personnel work around the clock to detect and repel against crossing against human smugglers and cartel gang members and stop the flow of deadly drugs like fentanyl into our nation. While the federal governor ignores the crisis, Texas is holding the line.
And I'm glad they are.
Yeah. So that's been 2021 when Operation Lone Star started. And now we're in a fucking tipping point, right? This is the fucking big shabushki.
And honestly, like, I mean, we've known, like, Trump always caught a lot of flack about the border.
Yeah, because he's racist, bro.
And now it seems like Texas was kind of ready once Biden stepped into office to know that basically they were going to be very lax on the border. Really?
Well, yeah, and there's a reason for that. There's a big reason for that, and it starts with the push to water down the votes and shit.
Yeah,
not having to have ID to vote, not having to speak English to vote, and there's a reason why they do all this shit.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I'm of the side that believes that drug trade and trafficking is a government sanctioned event to wash drugs to this country in order to keep people from learning truths. Yeah, that may be a little Alex Jones of me, but I mean, the proof is fucking decades old now that we continue to see government-led fucking, I don't know what you want to call it, government-led organizations doing nefarious things to help drug trades and keep people out of prison and hide truths and shit. But yeah,
well, it's a good moneymaker. And not only that, but I mean, you've got to look at some of the foreign nations that are against us as well. Like, they have a active interest in making sure that, you know, drugs enter the United States. I mean,
sure.
I'm sure there's a lot of, I'm not going to say Chinese, but there's probably a lot of influence down in the southern part of the border too, where they're pushing drugs across that may not be the best, but they know that if they can weaken the population in that way and keep us hooked onto something that's not necessarily good for our benefit, then they're going to do it, you know.
Sure.
And it's kind of crazy to see that, you know, even Homeland has reported that like 300,000 immigrants, illegals, were entering the United States in December of last year.
Yeah, was it something upwards of like 14 million, or no, was it 4 million? Maybe it was 14.
I think
like in the last years.
There's somewhere, like, I was trying to figure out what those hard numbers were, and it looks like Nikki Haley was quoted as saying it's 8 million. The Department of Homeland Security said it was something like 2.6. So my guess is it's something a little bit in between.
Yeah, you need to be careful about Nikki Haley, man. She's a wolves in sheep clothing.
Oh, no, for sure. But I mean, that's what she quoted. Her number was 8 million, is what she's saying.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So I think
a low ball.
Yeah, it's like a high and a low. There's something in between there that's probably the truth.
Oh, okay.
By no means am I saying that I'm a Nikki Haley supporter. I mean, for that matter, I'm not even a Trump supporter per se. Like, I prefer Trump over Biden, but I'm not looking forward to this election at all. I mean, it's going to be a shit show.
Well, I was hoping that Vivek would have more. He just hasn't got enough traction, man. But I don't know, man. He might be getting a nod for VP. We'll see.
You know, the only reason why I hesitate on thinking he's going to get the nod for VP is that he brings a lot of attention to himself because of his standings, and it's stuff that I like, and I don't think Trump likes that.
Maybe
he wants to be the center of the show. He doesn't want to have to share the limelight with somebody else.
Well, we need a strong VP because something happens to the president, we need someone strong. Because right now we got Dumb and Dumber in office, so like, and something happens, and we got the same, I don't really matter, but.
I absolutely agree, but there's still like you've got to deal with Trump's ego, right? I mean, and that's one of the things that I'm like, I don't know, man. I would love because I would have absolutely no problem voting for Trump if he selects Vivek as his VP, but
Yeah.
we'll have to see. I mean, I could be completely wrong on that.
Well, I mean, it's Trump or Biden. That's the fucking choices we got. There's no. Nikki Haley is not going to get the nod. She's not going to win.
No.
She's not going to win her state. She's not going to win anything. Like, she needs to bow out now and just start supporting the Republicans because she has no chance.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, DeSantis has already bowed out. Like, he was kind of like one of the last holdouts, and now it's just Haley and Trump. And
yeah,
and honestly, Haley's probably just part of the government elites that want to continue to keep what the same old kind of going.
Oh, she's yeah, she is, man. She's a warmonger. She's the same as all the others. She's just part of the war machine. That's all she wants. That's all she cares about. She's already talked about like deploying more troops to Ukraine and to other parts of the world. So like, I don't advocate anything. I don't advocate any military actions outside of this country unless absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
But
we're getting tied up into there's too many conflicts going on right now that are kind of, it's the pressure cooker, right?
Yeah, right at our own borders, man. Just fucking crazy shit going on. So I guess we opened up, I got something on this policy. So in 2022, according to the Washington Post, there was the policy allows for, I'm paraphrasing everything here because I'm not reading through this whole article. The policy allows lower-level asylum officers to settle claims that historically would have required a court hearing with the judge. They installed more than 500 video conferencing booths at processing facilities for migrants in U.S. custody along the border. So what they switched, essentially, without reading to this and looking into the actual policy, just glossing over it, what they did was, instead of you having to go to court, a court hearing in order to claim your reason for being in America.
Yeah, your asylum request kind of thing or something like that.
You were put in a room, and in that room, you were video conferenced with a low-level agent, literally just as lower-level agents. So someone who is not a judge, someone who is not a lawyer, and what it turns out to be is it's Border Patrol. That's what we found out. It's just federal Border Patrol. And they are processing them and letting them into the country. There's been, as far as I can tell, I can't find any instances where people are turned away. It's 100% let into the country, and you're done.
Yeah.
Come on in. There's no check and balances there. It's just let them in. And that was like a big push. Right. So, yeah. And that's a huge problem. Maybe you would think, but I don't know. I guess we just let whoever in and it's fine. I don't know. Nobody has to abide by laws anymore in a lot of cities. So I guess we're cool.
And that's the big question is, at what point do you consider it an invasion? I think, and then that's the big thing that Texas is standing on, right? Like, they're saying, yeah, this is an invasion that's taking place.
It is.
So even if we went with the 3 million number, right, over the past 3 years, that's a lot. That's a lot of illegals coming into the country. I mean, we can't support our own issues here at home because we're sending all this money overseas. And now that, the feds are acting like, oh, you can't stop us from doing this. And so Texas is holding the line. How many other states have joined them in this effort that they've got going on?
As of Friday, I think it was 25.
And that's pretty substantial. I mean, if you want to talk about dividing the country, I think that's...
Yeah, it's half. So.
It's more important. I think this is a bigger issue than any of Trump's belligerent tweeting or anything else that everybody had such a problem with. Like, this is a major issue.
Yeah, it's big because you've got the Texas National Guard and I forget what they call themselves, but you essentially have all these people at the border stopping federal agents from doing their job. but the federal agents is doing their job. They haven't been doing their job, and they've just been letting people in. And so that's the issue, right? Their Eagle Pass. That's the issue. They're not letting federal agents into this park, which has been a big, wide open place for people to come in. So like they're claiming, well, you're allowing people to die by not letting them come through this safe port, which is not border crossing. It's just an open park with like park shit, soccer fields and shit like that, like boat ramps to get into the water and shit. Like it's a fucking park. But they're calling this a border crossing because it's safe. So they're like, well, you're killing people by putting these buoys in the Rio Grande, and then you're killing people by this razor wire. No, people are killing themselves.
Yeah,
because they're going through this shit. You can't just. It's simple. I have a home. You can't just come into my home. You can't unless you are permitted to come into my home. And in order to come into my home, there's some prerequisites that I require of you in order for you to come into my home. The only way that you can come into my home without my permission is through force. That is the only way. And force will be applied to keep you out. So if it's my border, which is the country's border, which isn't a real thing, people say, well, it's a made-up line. You can't just make up land. Well, yeah, we can. That's the fabric of society, is by holding your position in a specific location and living there. If you start to try to break that fabric, then you're destroying everything.
Yeah,
you're destroying everything that is
laws, right?
Yeah, you can't take away that, because then it takes away rights. You can't take away rights that were given to you, whether it's human rights, basic human rights, or it's God's rights. You can't take those away. Otherwise, you create a chaotic state. And you can't have a chaotic state, right? Because if you do, then you're going to end up Palestine. You're going to end up where you have a situation where your beliefs and structure of everything is conflicted by the influx of the new chaotic rule. So that you can't have these silly things go on. You have to have a moral standpoint you have to have a moral stance to stand upon, the moral line to stand upon. Otherwise, you're going to be overrun, both figuratively and physically. I don't know, man.
Well, and it's a question of national security. Like when you look at, say you look at like England right now, for example, right? Like with all the Free Palestinian protests that have been going on, like those are not people that were obviously naturalized within England per se. Sure. Some of those people were probably, refugees from different conflicts. They moved into the country. And within those groups, and it's going to be the same thing with our southern border. Like when we talk about the southern border, it's not just illegal Mexicans that are coming across. You're looking at like groups, right? Like they may be rallying different groups, sending them in through Mexico, entering the states through the south. And then they're getting to kind of embed themselves within the American society.
Yeah, it's, tons of people are flocking to southern Mexico or to northern Mexico from all over the place to get into America easily. Yeah, it's silly. If you just brownish color, you're going to be okay. They're not going to and then clearly they don't care.
Yeah.
I think what was the initiative there? You would think it's compassion, right? That's what Biden and his team was doing. Their compassion. They got to let these refugees in and take care of them because that's the humane thing to do. I don't think that there's anything compassionate about that initiative.
No.
It's 100% flooding to try to water down everything to allow ease of power within their political group, right?
Yeah. Well, because there's that aspect of it where it's like, well, they're going to vote for us. We're going to keep Democrats in control if this is the case, right?
Yeah.
And that's, the other thing that I think is ridiculous, and you can use this metaphor like what you were talking about before with the home, right? If you buy a home because you want peace, safety, and security, right?
Mm.
If you have a home with no walls, what's the point of that home?
Right.
It offers neither of those things, any of those things. And you just open it up for a free-for-all, and that's... all of a sudden, then you got people coming in and being like, you know what, I'm gonna gonna take over your living room upstairs, or this is my bathroom now. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's actually like if you look at some of the laws and shit in some of these cities, like you literally have no authority to kick someone out of your house if they squat there.
Yep.
There are some laws. I don't know where it is. I think it's Chicago. It very well. You can put this in any of those cities, and that's fine. Probably the same. Maybe in LA, for sure. It's going to be in like in Portland or Seattle. But someone can come into your home and claim ownership of that home, and the police will not try to remove that person. They have no authority to remove that person because the authority has been taken away from them. So you have to decide what is right to remove that person from your property. And if you do use harm, you can be convicted of a crime for protecting your home and your family. So you have to decide on your own because the police will not do it anymore. So that's exactly the same thing at the small level. You're not allowed to protect yourself. You're not allowed to protect your home or your family. You're not allowed to protect the country. And on the bigger sort of a thing, we're not allowed. They're trying to not allow us to protect our country.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
So if you look at things like where Eagle Pass is, for anybody that doesn't know, it's a small little area, like right. I don't know how you call Texas, but Texas has a big dip, and then it comes down into the Gulf. But on the Gulf side of before the dip, it's about halfway in between that. It's actually not. I mean, it's pretty close to San Antonio, which is unfortunate, because we're pretty close to that. But yeah, if you look at the locale of it, and you'll see the river. A river running through, you'll see the significance of Eagle Pass that they've forced upon this is where they've started to allow all these people through. And you can see the size of this park. It's actually quite a large park that they've wired up and put the buoys and stuff in the Rio Grande. But yeah, I mean, you kind of go on and on about all this stuff. I mean, you just talked about it because it's poignant, right? Because it's huge. I mean, we're going to find out tomorrow because like there's a lot of shit that happens over the weekend that you're not going to get just because shit was actually shut down on the weekend still for some weird reason in the world. But like tomorrow, the AP and all the other bullshit is going to come out with their stuff, right? So right now you kind of just get updates from like Twitter feeds or X feeds, whatever you want to call it. And then like some local YouTubers will do some shit, which is kind of cool because you get to see stuff going on, like in real time. But yeah, I mean, outside of like the transportation stuff, and then they have like what are these people called? The truckers for God or
Freedom Convoy thing again?
Yeah, they're coming. So like, what are they going to do? Because they said they're going to stop people too. So, like, are they going to take law into their own hands as freedom fighters? I don't know. I hope not. They said they're peaceful, so I think they've done this before. But it's like a lot of motherfuckers too. This one's big convoy. Yeah, I think there's a lot of I think there's some truckers they're talking about from Canada, with the whole Canada thing and the trucker issue that they've had up there.
Yeah, but their convoy that they had that took place.
Yeah, I think it's the same sort of thing. Looking just a little bit more into some of this stuff, we've got USA Today, which kind of take for what you want to take for it, but they've actually been posting some pretty good things from the Texas Military Department. Some good pictures if you want to go on there on X. I'm not on X, but I just see these pictures on different places, and I don't really care for USA Today, but it does seem like they are doing a good job at not swaying either side. It's like pretty solid reporting on some of these articles that I'm not too familiar with their articles. I just looked them up there, but there's some good pictures if you want to go check them out. Yeah, I mean, from the big, we're going to build a wall till now we're like, there is no wall.
Yeah.
It's just it's like a total opposite. And they're playing on heartstrings too, because there's people in this country that are like, yeah, that's messed up. You can't keep people out. And most of those people are in college right now. And most of those people are either female or, I don't know. You can't even say that anymore. Feminine. I don't know. Dudes that are feminine trying to get with females. I don't know. There's hardly any like, I'll dig myself a hole. But the point is I'm trying to make is people are going to side with Biden on this because they think about compassion and compassion only. They don't think about repercussions because they're in college, because they never left college, because they're still educators, because they are simps for pain. They love pain. They love pleasure. They get pleasure from like pain, their own inner pain, because they want to pretend that they're something that they're not. Basically what I'm saying is you're going to have a bunch of fucking 40, 50-year-old dudes and cougar moms who are upset because they want to be part of something because they didn't have anything growing up. And so now they're a part of a movement that is at least something they can get behind emotionally, because there's no dignity to stand behind. Yeah, it's a whole crazy thing that there's going to be support for this push to let these people in when it's clearly not the right thing to do. And that's worrisome to me. I don't know if it ever is to you, how something can be so clear if you look at both sides of the coin. Essentially, it's so clear the path, and people will still push against. I don't know why.
It's them beer goggles, man.
Beer goggles blind.
Welcome to the Eclectic Podcast, the most eclectic podcast on the net, with your hosts Dylan, Rick, and Hans. This podcast is intended for mature audiences. If it happens to offend you, fuck off. Skynet is God.
And so, I've got to ask you this question, especially with some of your military experience in the past, and you may or may not know this answer, but like the National Guard right now, like Governor Abbott has, ordered them out, to start help securing the border thing. Does the National Guard actually just fall under Abbott, or do they fall under the federal side of things? Like, is Biden actually override Texas's control of the National Guard there?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that how that would work? Like, I mean, could the National Guard actually turn against Governor Abbott in this instance?
Yes and no. So here's the thing. Each state is going to have the National Guard. You're going to have its own National Guard, right? That falls under federal. It falls under federal jurisdiction. You are a federal employee part-time, but you also provide the services outside of that part-time to the state in which you're living in, but you must abide by the laws and rules of that state. To be beholden to two sources. Now, if Biden says, well, you no longer have control of these troops, then they will order the evacuation of these troops, and they will not be involved in this conflict or in any conflict. So Biden does have, well, he doesn't, but he can try to. He essentially does, because everyone's gonna follow him, whatever he fucking says. Because he's, let me digress. I'm fucking starting to get off on his fucking bullshit, but he can stop them essentially from being part of anything, because they're ultimately still a federal property. Because think of it like this. Think of it like you are leasing a car, right?
Yeah.
That car is yours. You are paying for that car. However, it is not really your car. You're just borrowing it.
Right. You're paying for almost a rental fee kind of for getting to use it.
Exactly. If you mess it up, or if if something happens with the bank or something, they can say, well, we have to take that car back. Or if you've done anything to ruin the contract with that car, they can say, well, yeah, you're liable for all this, and we're taking the vehicle back, and you're going to be charged whatever, blah, blah. So yes, they can do that. However, Texas does have its own National Guard, not very large, but most states should have their own fucking military force that is not government, or is not federal, should be state. Not all of them do, but Texas does, and it's not the largest, but it's some. So they can say that. And here's another thing that can happen too. A commander, probably not at the company level, so probably not your captain, maybe lieutenant at this point. I don't know. Lieutenants should run a company, but sometimes they do, I guess. But at your commander level, you're probably not going to have a choice. But if you look at your higher levels, so anything like, I wouldn't even think majors. Majors are kind of like the bitches. I would say like anything like colonel, lieutenant colonel to full bird colonel and higher. Mm-hmm. And you're probably going to be dealing, honestly, either a full bird or a general, a 1-star general. They can say, yeah, no, we're not doing that. They can literally push back against their bosses, which would be the government, which would be Congress, and they would be, their next line. So essentially the president and the cabinet there, but they can push back and say, no, we're not pulling out. Very unlikely that will happen, because most people at that high level, general level, are bought and paid for already. So probably won't happen, but they could say that. And they could say it's not constitutional what's happening, and we refuse your order, and it may result in some nonsense, but yeah.
I'm kind of curious, because especially with, if I think Governor Abbott has stated that there's going to be 10 other states that are sending troops down to help. When we've seen, I think, like you were saying, about 25 states signed the letter that agree that they're going to help support Texas in this initiative, and about 10 others are actually going to send troops down there of their own National Guard to help support. And that's kind of where I'm just like, well, what happens with that if President Biden's like, no, National Guard, you will not have control over them? So they can in some way actually have their own. I mean, and I will say this honestly too, I don't know how much of that Biden will actually do, because he's really in a precarious situation, and the Democrats are in general, where we are approaching election year. I mean, we are kind of at that point. In this November, we will be electing a new president. So how much of that is going to be political suicide for him if he really divides everything that's strong, like if he decides to die on this hill for immigration, which obviously he's wanted to in some way.
I don't think it matters. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I think they're worried in the least bit about polling. I'd be surprised if Trump makes it to this election. I'm just putting that out there.
Well, I've heard that. Yeah, I mean, you're not the only person I've heard that from. I've heard that from quite a few others. They've tried everything they can, right, to make it to where he won't make it.
They haven't tried everything.
No, I mean, but they've been trying everything that they can, short of one other thing.
Yeah, I don't think that it matters where this dude dies. Like, he could die on this hill, he could die on another hill. Biden and that whole administration, they don't fucking care. I don't think that they know. I actually think that Biden probably thinks he's doing the right thing. I don't think that he knows what the fuck is going on. And I could be totally wrong, but I think he's just fed something, and he's like, yeah, this is what we got to do. I don't think he knows what's going on.
I completely agree. I think it's almost likened to elderly abuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't, like, I think he believes he's doing the right thing and things that are going well. And I think his handlers are just like, yeah, no, this is what we're going to do. You got to get this right.
I want to say it can't be that everybody up there right now is complete morons or completely oblivious. It has to be that a lot of the leaders there are oblivious and stupid, and maybe they're just mentally incapable at this point. And then there's a faction controlling it all, and they want this because it makes it easy to make money and it makes it easy to destroy fabrics of Western culture.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that whole thing. So regardless if he, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls that big military card and says, well, we're pulling all that and we're going to stop this funding. We're going to stop this. We're going to stop that. In Texas, you will do this and you will do that. And then I don't think he knows or cares. I don't think it's a thing. I don't think it's a thing that he even cares about. So, and maybe he does, and maybe I'm wrong. But for what I've seen, I don't think he knows what's going on. And I don't think he gives a shit because he's busy thinking about something else.
Yeah. Yeah, no, time will tell for sure. We're going to have to kind of see what happens this next week. It'll be kind of curious and to see how things kind of play out. But I hope it, I don't want to, I want to see America become, or United States actually kind of hold strong and just, we need to tighten up our borders, plain and simple. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll meet again. We'll see. We'll have to see like next time we record and just see where everything's at.
Yeah, right now is the big point. So we'll see. I mean, who knows how long the standoff will happen? There's been, with Waco, that's precedented, right? Standoffs with federal agents and someone protecting their home. I'm not saying that David Koresh was right what he was doing, but I'm just saying there's precedents for feds dropping the ball as it comes to standoffs and fucking sieges. So we'll see what's up.
Yeah, I feel like this would be a bigger quagmire for the whole situation than Waco was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot more eyes on this kind of thing. Like, this isn't just a dude in a crazy little compound that's got some stuff going on. Like, this is a pretty large initiative.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, the federal government's authority in terms of their police forces, they're not the fucking best, man. The FBI is a fucking joke. And I don't give a shit. They're listening or they're not listening because they have fucking my phone and whatever else. They can hear and listen whenever they want. FBI is a fucking joke, dude.
Yeah.
It's a fucking organization built upon political suicide, built upon inauguration of power is not a thing. It's like, yeah, FBI and the CIA are fucking criminal organizations, dude, in my opinion.
The CIA for sure are. The FBI, I think you're right on the FBI on one front. Like, the CIA, I think, has kind of got a lot more sway than what most people realize.
Yeah.
I mean, because honestly, like, presidents come and go, those organizations stay.
Same fucking, man. Yeah, it's fucking, digress a bit from that. More important news, Hans. Did you see Disney's VR treadmill?
I have not.
No.
They've got a treadmill coming?
Yeah, it's like they're trying to go full retard. What is it? Avatar? No.
Ready Player One?
Ready Player One.
Tell me what is this thing? I gotta look at this.
It's like a hexagonal looking sort of pad.
Is it?
So
it's just going to be available at the parks, or are they trying to?
I don't know a whole lot about it. It's looking like there's like a thing I'm looking at on Yahoo News, TechCrunch by Kyle Wiggers. That dude got teased. January 27th. So this was like this morning. Talking about. Well, the title is Disney's VR treadmill, OpenAI fixes lazy GPT-4, and Apple rolls out stolen device protection. But yeah, the Disney treadmill caught my eyes. Looking at it right now.
Oh yeah, it's kind of an interesting look. It looks like it's not what I would expect it to look like.
It's like rollers, sort of, but it's not.
Yeah, because the one in, like, if you've seen Ready Player One, that treadmill actually exists. It's much bigger than what they made it look like in the movie.
Yeah, that big omnidirectional fucker.
Yeah,
they use that for movies, right?
Yeah, they've used it for movies. They've actually used it in quite a few different films, and they use it in a few different things. But this one, actually, again, these things are huge. Like, when you look at this video footage of this thing, that is massive. Like, you're not putting that in your living room. You know what I'm saying?
This one, it looks to be about, I'd say, 4x4 on this little structure they have.
Well, the structure looks large from what I'm seeing in the video, but the layout of the floor, like within that structure, is about 4x4, I'd say.
Yeah, just the actual moving part, the step. Yeah, the structure is huge. Like, this is for like movies and shit. I guarantee this is for like their big giant fucking screens that they use for their Disney movies and shit. But, yeah, this looks like it's a system in its current line will be prohibitively expensive for home use. No shit. If it's going to see light of day, it seems likely that it will be part of a Disney Parks VR experience, which is what I'm assuming. But everything starts somewhere. And I was just looking at this earlier, and I thought, that's kind of cool, actually. I mean, it's tech that maybe right up your alley, VR type shit. And
what's crazy is I have not messed with VR hardly at all.
Didn't you get PSVR 5 RV?
No, hell no. That's cost too much. And the thing is there's not a killer app for it. Like the only thing really that I've been chomping at the bit at within VR that I want to try is I really want to play Half-Life Alyx.
Oh yeah, that one did get pretty good reviews.
But I mean, I don't have a VR headset to hook up to my computer to do it. And I've thought about it like with the MetaQuest 3, because you could hook that up to your computer and do like a PC link and use that as a VR headset.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, it'd be fairly decent at being a VR headset, but there's not enough out there. Like there's nothing on the VR2 for the PlayStation that really kind of sells me game-wise. I mean, Horizon looked kind of cool, but
no,
I don't. Yeah.
Really bad remarks. They said it's a climbing simulator that is not good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, because really, like the PlayStation VR on the PlayStation 4, like it was kind of cool in the beginning. Like I really wanted to see what VR was like at that level, and I thought it was really neat. But there was nothing that really made me want to try it, or that really kind of forced me to want to play it. Does that make sense? There was no killer app, I think is what I go back to.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've been on the fence with any type of new VR stuff. Like I said, Half-Life Alyx is still one of the things that I would love to play. But yeah, nothing else.
Well, sort of keeping with Disney, I guess. I'm having a shit show with Deadpool 3 or 4 or whatever the fuck it is. I think it's 3.
It's 3.
Yeah, they're having a hard time with getting that one fucking going or getting it filmed. But
well, I thought they just wrapped on filming.
Yeah, I don't know if it was full wrap or what, because I know their scenes and shit were being removed or not being able to be filmed because of, well, it's Disney and it's fucking Marvel now. So all that fun and freedom that Ryan Reynolds had to do his fucking shit, he's not going to have it anymore. So this movie's going to be a fucking shit show. Well, I hope not, but it's going to be a watered down fucking... Disney's not going to allow them to do what they did in the first one. Because even the second one started getting a little... I don't know, it's still funny, but I don't know. We'll see. But it's looking like they are... I don't know if they've finished shooting completely, like I said, or if they are done for now until they can get some of the discussions out of the way to get these other scenes filmed. I would assume they filmed them all, but whether they can put them in. So like, I'm worried about this edit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Are we gonna get a cool edit like 2 years later that will actually, the show will be good, or is it gonna be a train wreck? Because Disney's studios has not, they're not very good at editing shit. And
yeah, I think that's the big question is like, I mean, principal photography is done, right? But we'll have to see what comes back in the post and see what else we can, or what's going to come from that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the question. Like, so this is Marvel now. I mean, it was Marvel before, but it wasn't under the direct Marvel. It wasn't under the MCU umbrella, and now it is because of the acquisition of Fox. Mm-hmm. And like, so the crazy thing is like Disney typically, like, let's be honest, Disney would release some trash, but they wouldn't release it under the Disney name.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think there's a lot that they can hide it behind. Like, everybody pretty much knows that. And when I say trash, I'm talking about being risque, kind of crude, like shit you wouldn't really expect on the Disney Channel. But they can't hide that now. So are they gonna let it to be as raunchy and vulgar as what it technically should be? And I think that's the ultimate question, that you're asking there.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding that, and then with Ryan Reynolds pushback, and how much of that is made up or for buzz, and how much is it not made up on certain things. I know there was a character issue where Disney wasn't going to allow a lot of different characters for X-Men to be put into the movie.
Yeah.
So that's annoying, but you figure they have full license. We have fucking give this guy who's made movies with nothing, give him carte blanche to be, do whatever the fuck you want, man. You're printing money for us. We're dying here. So like, give us money, make us money. So I hope that that's the end of that, because Disney has nothing coming out this year. It's Deadpool. That's it. I mean, I don't see much else coming out for 2024. Like, it's literally just Deadpool.
Well, and that's been the biggest thing, is that there's been that shift, right? Like, and it's funny to me because Disney's earnings and all this basically the last 2 years, the box office with Disney has been kind of abysmal.
Yeah.
And it's like, at what point are you going to say, hey, I made the wrong damn decisions and we need to course correct? But they still haven't done that yet. They're doubling down on it. It seems like every time they come back and they're like, well, this is obviously hurting us in the box office, but they still keep on doubling down on the bullshit. Like, I don't understand why.
Yeah. I mean, it starts at the top, right? The fucking, what is it, Iger?
Yeah, Bob Iger.
What a stand-up job, that guy. What a fucking, I don't know how you managed to stay up there. You're ruining, like, your company's dying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he stepped down as CEO around the Epstein time. Like, obviously, there was a lot of CEOs that stepped down during that whole thing with Epstein. And I don't know if they were afraid that a lot of things were going to come out and their names are going to get dragged through some mud. And they're like, oh, we're going to just step down now. And then it was like, oh, the feds were like, hey, we got you. Don't worry, because it's too hurtful to us as well. So we're not going to let some of this stuff out. And then so all of a sudden he's back as CEO. And it's like, dude, you're still doing a shit job.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with Star Wars too, like, and that whole shit show, we're going to make Rey the new star and the continual star, I guess, and let's talk about the fucking Palpatine era or whatever. And then let's make people uncomfortable. Director's words, exactly. Well, I think that movie got canceled. I think those Star Wars movies got completely stopped. As far as I'm looking at, the latest news is all that new Star Wars trilogy that was supposed to like get ramped up. I think it got shut down at some point. I don't know if we're gonna get something. I don't know if you have more information on that.
Was that the Rian Johnson ones?
Or no, it was that chick.
See, and I hadn't heard anything that the Daisy ones were canceled completely. Like, as far as I knew, they were still working on them.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. Trying to get information on that. It's like fucking outside of looking at your typical sites. Oh man, I had it pulled up and I lost it. But let's see. Get it. Star Wars Daisy Ridley.
Oh, I guess it looks like they are delayed indefinitely. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just looked at it on. Let's see if it's a Variety that I saw it on. Just after Variety. No, that wasn't that one. I can't remember what site. I'm trying to look for the shit, but it's crazy. Like, almost an entire cast of people come out, like the people that were in your movies, right? They come out and are just disappointed in the movie, and disappointed, especially in that third film, in the direction that the movie went. Like, almost everyone came out and they were like, what is this? What is this movie?
Yeah.
And you continue to make these movies, even though even the own actors that you're putting in these movies are not excited about your movies. Very strange. It's a very strange time, but whatever. I mean, I haven't watched the last Star Wars, and I won't watch the new Star Wars if they're going to continue this craziness. This is sad. Well, at this point, I guess, who cares?
Yeah, it's no longer. And I think that's the biggest thing is that, I mean, our generation really needs to just understand these are not the Star Wars movies being made for us any longer.
No,
they're aiming this at a younger generation that they're trying to cultivate their minds and want them to understand the woke culture and everything.
Everything is about it, right? I don't think it's hard to get a movie that's just a movie for fun's sake anymore. Everything it comes with a glaring message or a complete and utter absence of logic in order to provide a defining point in your movie, whether it's to turn someone gay and lesbian, or whether it's to make someone a different color, or whether it's to change this about this so that way it fits a narrative for this, whether it's to have black actors play traditionally white roles regardless of historic accuracy, just to wash and to be, what's the word, not woke, but just to be, I guess woke in a sense, but I hate using that word woke. It's so stupid, but it is what it is, man. Hollywood long ago has stopped being original, and everything is just a remake of something that's already been done, or a remake of a remake of a remake. There's hardly any new properties. With comic books, it's the same thing. There's no new properties that people come up with. It's just the same shit. Just make it a female, or just make it black, or just make it white, or just make it brown, and then spit it out and call it Superman, or call it whatever the fuck you want to call it. And they'll come up with something new. Just use something and then change it. So that way, I guess it makes someone feel better somewhere. I don't know who's feeling better, but maybe they are. Maybe people are happy. I don't know.
Well, and the funny thing, like you bring up the historical figure, like Cleopatra, for example, she's Greek, and they didn't make her Greek in the last movie. Like, yeah, like they're like, no, she was African. No, she wasn't, dude. She was born in Greece.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to. Yeah, I guess historical accuracy just doesn't mean anything. Now you just have to fit in what you can fit in to make it seem better for you.
Yeah, no, historical accuracy means nothing in the face of woke accuracy, I suppose.
Yeah, which is fine. I totally want people to be represented in movies.
I do too.
Be excluded in movies. I want people to be able to identify with somebody and feel excitement in movies for a character that looks like them or sounds like them. But be original. Come up with some fucking shit that's original. Why do you have to try to rewrite history in order to appeal? Like, and then for now, then we're supposed to be like, oh yeah, was Cleopatra actually black? She was for sure. And then in the history books, or the school lessons, people are going to be like, well, I thought she was black. Oh no, she was Greek. And then eventually she was black. I can't believe it. And then Greek is taken completely out of the fucking context. And then where are you at? You're in a fucking world where history is contorted because the books say it's different now. I don't know.
Well, and that's the one thing like about the Greeks. Like, there's you can take a lot of leeway, especially when you look at some of the Persian and Eastern Assyrian type cultures where they weren't very good at keeping records. But the Greeks, they were awesome at keeping records.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Like, they wrote everything down. They thought everything was important. So they wrote all kinds of shit down. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, obviously we don't know. When you look at some of like the Germanic tribes and stuff like that, right? Like, there's a reason why Hitler was so concerned about, what their origins were. And that's because the Germanic tribes back in the day, they didn't write anything down. They didn't think it was worth it.
Yep.
But the Greeks, yes, they did.
Yeah, it was, I just fucking turned into 16 years old again there. Holy shit. I'm a man, I promise. Yeah, my fucking voice is breaking up here. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's all crazy.
Yeah.
Did you, looking at these movies this year, coming out of the Disney umbrella, we've got First Omen.
I haven't heard of that one.
That is it's April. It looks like Damien. It looks like,
Oh, like the Omen, like that Omen, they're redoing that?
yeah, again, nothing's original. They can't fucking come up with anything worth a shit.
Didn't they just redo that like 10 years ago or 12 years ago?
Yeah, this is the 6th film in the Omen franchise.
Jesus.
And the first Omen film to be released in nearly 18 years. So I guess it's been that long.
Oh, wow. I know Julia Stiles was in the last one, I think, that they redid or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember. This one has,
Is it going to be a female Damien this time?
A young woman from America moves to Rome to begin a new life working at a church, but isn't looking long before she discovers secret darkness and evil conspiracy within the church to bring about the Antichrist. So I think it's still...
Or no, they will have to keep it a white person this time because it's got to be evil white people.
Yes, these are both very white people that I'm looking at on the cover of this fucking post here. A very white young man and a very white young lady. I said young man. That's
The hero of the movie is going to be a lesbian.
well,
And
a lesbian. Again, she's brave. She's brave, but she's not a little boy. Then she'd really be brave. That
Like-
little boy is probably getting raped. I'm just saying.
You know what? I like the idea of like seeing a good like origin story of the Antichrist kind of thing, like whatever the speculative spin would be on it. But they need to start it over again and just start like from square one and just kind of show like the evolution of this evil darkness thing. But it can't like you can't have goodness prevail. Like it's got to be a longer series that kind of just continues to kind of like this guy becomes more and more and more of a shit, basically, right?
I agree.
I would love to see that. Nobody would want to watch that though, because it would be like so depressing. You're like, oh fuck, he won again. Oh, he won again.
It'll probably be woke though the whole time, and it'd be like he won't kill black people. He won't necessarily like subvert trans people. He just leaves them alone and doesn't really involve himself. You know,
Yep.
it's fine. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I haven't watched the Planet of the Apes in ever. I don't like those movies. I don't want to watch apes, but
Oh,
that's
dude.
coming.
I'm kind of. I mean, if it's the same kind of feel that they've done with the others, because that trilogy was it punched way above its weight. It was so much better than it ever deserved to be.
That's what I heard. I don't care about. I don't like monkeys, dude. I don't care about apes, dude.
Caesar's G. Like that was a really good. That like I said, it punched above its weight. Like you expected cheese, and you went in there, and it wasn't cheese. Like it was a very good story.
Yeah, I heard it was. I just don't want to watch monkeys, dude. I fucking hate them.
Gotcha. But yeah, it was still good. Like if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend you watch it. Those are good. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about our audience.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, you already told me what you think. So
Garbage. I have things, man. I can't watch movies with dogs. I can't watch fucking movies with apes. I can't watch movies about like porn and shit. Just bugs me. I don't know why. It's not like I have a moral standpoint on it. It just bugs me. Just can't get into them. But the CG is good. They've fucking done a fantastic job. And so far we're looking at Fox's studio. So it's Disney by proxy, because these movies are going to come out regardless of fucking Disney purchasing Fox. But then we have this Inside Out, which is a Pixar movie. At this point, I don't care about Pixar movies.
they already did Inside Out.
Huh?
Didn't they already do Inside Out?
This is part 2.
Oh, okay.
We got to continue it, you know.
Now it's going to be like they got to deal with their emotional of becoming trans.
I guess I didn't watch the first one, so I don't know. I just, I don't know. I've been too old for Pixar at this point, I guess. I've pretty much been too old for Pixar my entire life, but whatever. Toy Story was good, I guess. I watched the first one, that was it. Deadpool 3, that's in July. It's labeled under Marvel Studios completely, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about this, but this is interesting. Fucking Alien Romulus. Have you heard about this?
Is it the Star Trek thing?
No, it's Alien.
Oh, okay. So like actual Ridley Scott Alien.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I have not. I'm kind of curious as to whether or not it's going to continue what Ridley Scott was doing with Prometheus and, Alien Covenant, but interesting. What does it say? Like who's directing it or?
Let me see here. The 9th installment of the Alien franchise, while there's currently only a brief synopsis of what the film is about, it is set to be an interesting story about it. How do they know it's an interesting story? I hate this type of reporting. Screen rant. Why am I on screen rant? A group of young people on a distant world who find themselves in a confrontation with the most terrifying life form of the universe. Creative team behind the movie has confirmed that Alien Romulus will be a standalone movie that is separate from the rest of the Alien franchise. So there you go.
Never mind. Yeah, so it's not going to be a continuation of Alien Covenant or Prometheus.
It's going to be the license.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking AVP and all that shit again.
Yeah. It's directed by Feli Alvarez. Is originally scheduled to be released on Hulu.
Oh. All right.
But they decided to release it in theaters in August 2024. You can find the movie will take place between Alien 1976 and Aliens 1986. While more is yet to be known about the story, this movie looks like to be an intriguing revival to the Alien franchise. There's some good fucking talking points here. This guy.
Yeah.
The Amateur, another Fox movie. Everything's Fox except for one, which we knew was going to be the case, but The Amateur, I'm not even looking at that. Some about CIA lost me. Sorry. I didn't know they were gonna do another Lion King live action.
Oh God.
Yeah, this one's Mufasa, the Lion King. Cool. So
wait, is it a continuation or is it a whole, like, we're going to do the Lion King live action all over again?
Okay, well, let me just, who is this fucking nutsack? Dean Gallagher, published December 14th, so this is a while back, but Dean Gallagher for Screen Rant. Who is this nerd? This movie is the long-awaited prequel of the Disney classic. Who's waiting for this?
Long-awaited prequel.
It's a long-awaited prequel to Disney classic, The Lion King. So this is the prequel to The Lion King. So this is when Mufasa became The Lion King.
So it's going to be Mufasa, like it's going to show Scar and Mufasa.
Yeah. Simba is now the king of pride, lands determined like of the fallen son. Well, it looks toward the future.
Well, the fuck, how's that a prequel?
Huh?
If it's about Simba, it can't be a prequel. It's got to be about Mufasa.
It was prefacing that that's what it is now. The backstory of his father is what this thing's about. And his rivalry with Scar, how he became the king of Pride Rock, are explored. So it's another live action.
Sounds like garbage.
Christmas this year, 24.
I'm curious about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Ooh, Frozen Emperor. I don't know. I'm. What is that?
It's the follow up to Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's supposed to be coming out in March, I think.
Another one, huh?
Yeah.
Same kids, or they have new kids?
No, same kids, same group. Original cast and the new cast from Afterlife are in there.
I mean, the original cast is still in there because, like, Bill Murray he's coming back again. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, he is.
What? And he's healthy enough to walk?
Apparently, like either that or they give him some good shots before he goes out on the set.
That old fuck, man, he's looking bad.
Yeah.
Is he a druggie?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's bad. He just aged really bad.
Well, like he's old as shit though, too.
Not that old, dude. What is he, 70? Trump's 70. Trump's almost 80, I think.
Trump is probably almost 80. Let's see. Let's see. I wonder how old he actually is. Now you got me curious.
I don't know, man.
Bill Murray, Peter Venkman. Bill Murray is...
Doesn't say it as IMDb.
He was born in 1950.
He's not that fucking old.
It's 73, something like that.
Yeah, he
70.
just old. I mean, that's old. That's pretty old, but it's not like there's a lot of people that's older than that, you know.
Well, and Dan Aykroyd, like he's got to be close in age, right? And he doesn't look that bad.
Nah, he's been heavy. He's like his whole life. He's been bigger.
He's 71, and he doesn't look nearly as tore up as Bill Murray does.
Bill Murray got the shit end of the aging stick.
Either that or he was really hard on himself. But you got to remember, like, these guys were riding around with John Belushi and shit like that.
Yeah, the fucking, like the good old days.
You know they were doing some heavy, heavy drugs.
Probably, for sure, like psychedelics on Aykroyd's side, right? That dude's a fucking, he's an alien guy. He's a big fucking conspiracy guy.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's coming out, let's say March 22nd is when it's supposed to be released. I think they released the first teaser, and I think there's supposed to be another trailer coming out.
Oh, nice. That's soon.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm looking at now, like I was just looking at Disney's upcoming, so we were talking about it, but there's a lot of shit coming out, and it's a lot of poo.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff I don't care about, which doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means I don't know about it. They have Mr. and Mrs. Smith's show coming out.
Yeah, I saw something about that. It's got, what's his face in there?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
This Is America.
What?
What was that song that he did?
Song?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. He's a singer?
Well, he's
Rapper?
sort of. It's
What are you talking about?
Baby Gambino. What was his name? Like, what was the name of that album?
Baby Gambino?
This Is America. Or This Is what was that song?
Dude. I don't think anybody knows what that song is.
Childish Gambino. That's what it was.
Childish
This Is America.
He's Mr. Smith?
Yeah, I think he's Mr. Smith in that show.
Oh, so take an original story, make him black. Got it.
Yeah, and then Mrs. Smith is Asian.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's woke. I could be wrong on the casting, but because I could be being racist.
Childish Gambino doesn't look like someone that I would think would be like a debonair dude to be like a secret agent. I don't know. I'm even just picturing Brad Pitt or something. I don't know. As well I should, because that's who that was. They should have typecast a little better. But hey, you gotta fucking be woke.
Yeah, so it's Maya Erskine, Erskine, and Donald Glover. They're Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Is that Child Gambino?
Yeah,
Childish
Donald Glover is Childish Gambino.
So is he related to Danny Glover?
I believe it's his son.
Oh, okay. So his son's a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Childish Gambino isn't really a rapper, is he? He's just like a dude.
I don't know if I'd really consider him a rap star. I mean, he's just kind of like he's a rich kid in Hollywood that's like, I want to make an album. Oh, I'm gonna make some movies,
Maybe he's really good, or we're just shitting on him. What has he been in?
I think he was in Spider-Man Homecoming, right? He was
Oh, he was.
Let's see. Hold on. I need to see something here. Partner, children. Who are his parents? Because maybe he is not really Donald Glover's son.
I think he is.
Let's see. Early life. Donald McKinley Glover Jr. was born Edwards Air Force Base, and was raised by Stumner where his father is stationed. Seeing that? No, that can't be him, man. Like, that Donald Glover can't be his dad. Donald McKinley Glover was born at Edwards Air Force Base in Edwards, California on September 25th, 1983, and was raised in Stone Mountain, Georgia, where his father was stationed. Danny Glover wasn't stationed in the military.
He
as far as
was.
I know.
He was learning how to play Predator 2.
Yeah. Having no high skill. The clown. Yeah, no, he's not related to Danny Glover.
Fine. I digress. He can play Mr. Smith. He's loud, I guess.
So yeah, no, he wasn't born the rich kid in Hollywood, but he's done all right, it looks like. What other movies you got there?
I was looking at a bunch and I lost it. And okay, here we go. Coming out that was for just February, so next month. I'm just gonna scroll through some of this and see if anything sticks out. No, it does not. Nothing really crazy, dude. Just like a lot of kids shit, and then like some doo-doo in February. Looks like some doo-doo. This is a stupid list I'm looking at. It's gonna take forever. What you said, March for Ghost? Yeah, March 22nd, Frozen Empire. Geez, yeah, The Omen. So we already talked about The Omen supposed to come out this year. The Avatar thing on Netflix is coming out like in a couple weeks, I think. That might be pretty good. I don't know if you're into Avatar or not.
Not really. I don't know enough about it. Like it was kind of like, from what I understand, basically it's an American type anime, right? Or is it Korean?
Korean.
Like as far as I can tell, like to me, it seems like Avatar's always been like as close as America got to having their own type of anime, or at least heavily influenced in the anime style.
Yeah,
I never watched the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong version of it.
it's okay.
Was it all right?
Yeah, this looks a lot like it, but it looks like casting's better, and it looks more like the actual cartoon. Like I said, I don't know if I said it on cast or not, but I've watched the 3 seasons of Avatar. I remember skipping through some episodes because it was too kiddie, but yeah, cool enough. I like the story behind it. It was I see why it's huge. So that'd be something. It'll be something to watch, or something new to watch. You choose. The Fall Guy. Isn't that something we already saw?
The Fall
That's coming out Friday, May 3rd. The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt.
Okay.
Was Fall Guy, wasn't that?
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Free Guy.
Free Guy. Oh, okay. So that'd be Gosling and Blunt. They just fucking...
You know what I do want to see that's coming out this year is Dune 2.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see that since the fucking first one ended 14 years ago. Takes so long, dude. Yeah. This one's gonna shit on us too. Is this gonna be the ending, or we have to wait for part 3?
It could be like a middle part of the story. Like we may have to wait for part 3.
Jesus fuck. Yeah, I'm excited for that one too. It should be pretty fun.
Like the first one, I really enjoyed the first one that he did. Dennis Villeneuve or whatever his name is. That guy, like, he is really good with sci-fi. I think he does an amazing job.
What else has he done?
He did Blade Runner, what was it, 2040 or whatever that one was?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Ryan Gosling.
And I really liked that one too. I thought that was a really good Blade Runner movie.
Yep.
And what he's done with Dune so far has been like, dude, it was just so visceral. Like being in the theater and just getting the chills from the sound and the world, the way it all looks. Like, and it's unlike any other sci-fi that's out there.
No, it's cool, dude. The lore behind it is pretty solid.
Yeah, like I'm so like the world that he has created, or the galaxy. I can't even call it a world, right? The galaxy he created with that movie is just insane. And I know like it's the Herbert book series, but the way he was kind of able to flesh it out and bring it to life, like it makes me curious. Like, what the fuck is this world like?
Yeah,
like.
It's cool. And it sucks that it ended the way it did. You know, we had to wait for so long because of all the different factors. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be cool. I know it'll be at least entertaining, you know. But yeah, I'll right before it comes out, I'll definitely watch the first one again just to refresh. But yeah, Yeah, you're so invested in the power system, like what's the magical system here, and like you're learning about all this new shit, and then it's over. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, yeah, and like just the way the houses work, like I mean, just almost like this medieval caste system thing going on, and
yeah,
like it's high tech, but there's not like computers in sight. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a cool tech. Like it's a cool type of tech that we're not used to seeing. You know, it's magically driven to some extent, but it's very like gnarly. Is that the word I'm looking for? Mechanical.
Yeah.
Sort of like this mechanical, but not like cell phone-ish, not like elegant. It's like very fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, it's a cool universe. I'm glad you like that one as well.
Yeah, I've really dug that, and I've really thought about reading the books, and I haven't done it yet. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to audio that shit. I don't know.
I've got the first book downloaded, but I've never gone through and started to do it. It just like part of me wants to do it, and then part of me is like, I don't know.
Right? Well, it's a big jump. You have to take some time to listen to it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Venom 3 apparently is coming out this year. I don't know that I watched Venom 2 to be honest, but okay. Captain America: Brave New World. I didn't think that was coming out this year. I know you don't want to. I don't want to watch it either.
Anthony Mackie, like I can't, man. And it's nothing against. And I go back to saying this because I feel like I have to defend it every time. It's not because he's an African American Captain America. It's because he's a shit actor.
It's not the best.
Like he killed Altered Carbon. Like everything he has touched, he's turned to poo.
Yeah, I don't know why they just didn't. Why they couldn't give the nod to. I mean, I know why, because the comics they had to keep him black, but they should have just given the nod to Sebastian Stan. Like, just give Bucky the shield and let's just make something new out of it. But they because that guy can hold a fucking movie. Like that guy can.
He was the most interesting thing in that Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show that they did.
Oh yeah, by far. Like I wanted scenes with him in it. That was almost exclusively, but we'll see, dude. I don't know. Whatever. They have Kraven the Hunter. I don't know if you're familiar with Kraven.
A little bit. Spider-Man universe. Like he's part of the Sinister Six, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a hunter, and that's about all I need to know. This is a Sony's picture, so it's going to be what it's going to be. Although the last I saw, what did I see? I saw Morpheus. I liked it. So
what? You're full of shit.
Yeah, I liked it. You didn't like it?
No,
I thought it was pretty good.
I could not stand to watch it. I was like, I'm so bored with this movie.
The idea behind it was good. It was they did a pretty good job to the comics. Morpheus is a really cool character in the comics, and they made him the way it should be, because Morpheus is a good bad guy. So they made it pretty good. But yeah, I digress. I'm not saying it was a great movie. I'm just saying they did good in the job for a Sony pictures that I saw on Netflix like 2 years after it came out, and I was like, oh, not a bad movie. But yeah, digressing. I put that in the same as like Venom 1, which wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't a bad movie.
I could stand to watch Venom 1, but it didn't bear repeating. Like Morpheus, I tried to watch it, I couldn't get into it.
Are you saying the same thing? Morpheus or Morbius?
Morbius.
Okay.
The one with fucking what's his
Leto.
Yeah, like that was a shit. Fucking one of the worst fucking movies I've seen.
You just don't like Leto's music, bro. Fuck that.
No.
I don't either. Beetlejuice 2. I'm concerned, but I'm excited.
Michael Keaton will be in there, so I'm kind of curious. Like okay, so there's one, right? Like we were talking about Bill Murray and stuff earlier. Michael Keaton has actually done a pretty good job of being able to kind of stay spry, and he's a little bit older now, quite a bit older now. I think he's got to be in his 70s or close to 82.
Yeah,
but he doesn't like it.
I don't know. Is he officially in it? Because this is what I'm looking here on this says he's rumored.
I think he'll be in it. I can't imagine. Like he's been doing like what actors that are kind of that were hot in the 80s he's been doing that kind of thing where they're kind of reviving some of those characters and coming back to stuff. So I can't imagine he wouldn't want to be in it. Because, I mean, what? He's revised his role as Batman.
Beetlejuice 2, he would want to do Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah.
So
I can't imagine he won't be in it. Like, I think that's going to be like the selling point. And I think he can still, like, obviously Beetlejuice wears a lot of makeup and he can still play that role. I mean, you saw what he did with The Flash, right?
yeah, it was great.
Him as Batman in there was amazing. And so I think he definitely, I can't see a reason why he wouldn't want to come back to Beetlejuice.
We got Julia Dietz, so Winona is doing it, riding the success of Stranger Things. So I think that's a good push to have her be the head. And why wouldn't she be? She was the head of the movie in the first one. Like, Beetlejuice was the name of the movie, but she was the pushing actress on that movie. She drove the movie. It was literally about her family and her. So essentially, I mean, yeah, you had Baldwin, and I want a great cast. Holy shit, you think about that cast. But anyways, yeah, should be good. I think it'll be good. Anyways, I hope it'll be good. Kind of getting down. That's in September, so later this year. All this shit coming down. Wolfman. So Universal trying to shit out their bullshit again. I don't know about that. But
We're going to relaunch the monster movie franchises. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be huge.
and huge.
They're going to do a Frankenstein again. They're probably going to do, so they're going to do all that shit again.
It's gonna be a Blackenstein.
Well, they've got to, though. Some of those things, like, I mean, you saw what happened with Steamboat Willie, right? Like, you've got to kind of reinvent those franchises so you can keep copyright claims in place.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim.
Is that going to be the Amazon Prime series, or is that going to be a new Lord of the Rings movie?
No, I think this is a movie. It was supposed to be early this year, like maybe in early second quarter, and then pushed back into late fourth quarter this year. The War of Rohirrim.
Are you having a stroke? What are you saying?
It's the War of Rohirrim. Rohirrim. You fucking say that shit.
Roaring. I don't know.
The War of Rohirrim.
You okay, Dylan? Say yes.
Fucking toast, dude. My arm hurts. I smell toast. Yeah, so we'll see how that is. It looks like we have, of course, the Thunderbolts. I don't think I give a shit about the Thunderbolts, but what do you think about those? It should star fucking Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
And it'll have Florence Pugh from because Yelena Belova and Bucky Barnes are part of the Thunderbolts, so that'll be good.
Yep.
Two actors that I really enjoy watching on screen.
What I like the guy that plays the Red Menace or whatever the hell his name was. It's not Red Menace. What was his character name?
The David Arbor character?
Yeah, David Arbor's character. Like, I like him in that too. Like, it could be fun.
Yeah, the Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, that's what it was. Red Menace.
Yeah.
Like, some shit.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus as La Contessa. Wyatt Russell as John Walker. I'm assuming that, Wyatt Russell's is Kurt Russell's son. And then Olga is, they female the Taskmaster. That's good. Probably gay too. And you have Ghost, and then Lewis. What is Lewis Pullman doing? He's in it, but yeah, Thunderbolts could be interesting. I think that's a movie that should have been pushed more than some of this other bullshit they've put out. But anyways, so you have the Karate Kid sequel. Have you heard about this?
I heard something roughly about it. I think they're just kind of cashing in on the series Cobra Kai, right? Like, they're going to be like, let's do it again. And they're bringing Jackie Chan in, I think, from what I understand, into it.
Yeah, it's Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio are the two confirmed for it. I don't know. I haven't watched the last two seasons of that show.
Oh, I couldn't. It got dumb, dude. It just kept on, like, you get character growth, and then they would just be like, oh, wait, no, we can't, because then there's no conflict, so we got to take him back to being a fucking retard again. So
yeah,
I got just
recycling. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then Nosferatu.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
The only reason why I say that is because, like, I still look at that to this day, like the original Nosferatu that came out, and like that is the creepiest looking vampire I've ever seen in a movie.
Sure.
As the last guy's name was Shank or something like that. Like when he did that role, like, dude, they did some good prosthetics, and he is a creepy looking bloke.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it comes out the end of this year, so there's a bunch of things that we've.
And they did right because they cast Willem Dafoe in there because he's a creepy looking fuck too.
Dude, that dude made it in this world looking like that, and he made it at a great level. Like, kudos on him because he's a freaky looking dude.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to see him in movies. That dude's a fucking badass.
Oh, he's an incredible actor.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Some of the shit that he's been in. And he just appears sometimes in random shit, and you're like, "Oh fuck, this is like AAA fucking like super actor here," and he's like just chilling in this little shit movie.
Yeah, yep,
it's strange, but yeah, there's a lot of other shit coming out, man. But that's like the gist of like the main stuff. I think just looking through, you have some Netflix stuff that. Netflix comes out with anything, I'm just expecting a woke fest of whatever. So, literally, dude, everything that's coming out on Netflix, it's all fucking lesbian, trans. Everyone fucks everybody. It's so annoying. I'm tired of the shit. I don't know if you notice this, but every new show that Netflix comes out with, everyone is forcefully, they're just fucking everybody all the time. Everyone is gay, everyone is bi, everyone is trans, and it's just normal.
You're just not with the world anymore, Dylan.
Yeah,
that's how everything is. Like, there's no normal people no more. It's just people.
I saw like 4 trans my whole life, bro. In real life, they're not everywhere. I fucking never see them. I only see them at a Ren fair. That's when I saw them all. So I don't know about this shit, man. I'm just Netflix. This sucks, dude. So I'm sus when it comes to Netflix, but they do have it on with the Avatar, so that might be interesting. Finish Reacher. Did you finish Reacher?
I have not yet. I haven't gotten a chance to watch a whole lot of shows lately. I still there's been a bunch of shit. Like I didn't finish the second season of Loki yet. I'm behind on everything.
Oh man, that was so good too. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one, and I enjoyed Reacher too. I enjoyed the first season better, and it has nothing to do with the show itself. I think it just has everything to do with the book.
Okay.
The way they just, I wish, and I don't know the book, so I don't know if they just pick and choose the books to make, or if this was in fact the second book in the Reacher series. Because to me, they missed an opportunity, unless the writer wrote it like this in the books, and this is the way it is, which is fine, where they could have made movies, they could have made these shows and introduced characters each season, and then like in season 5, they put this season on there so I can actually care about care about these private investigators, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know them and I'm supposed to care for them, and they try to make you care for them throughout 8 episodes, but it's hard. So they to me, they missed an opportunity to draw 5 seasons out of this in order to make a finale, and this could have been the finale where you're seeing characters that you love, just like Marvel used to do back before they shit the bed.
Yeah.
Build them up over years and then have movies like the Avengers and shit come out, and like you care about these characters now. But I digress. It's fun enough, and I enjoyed the season, and it is what I wanted it to be. So yeah, but I think if I was to like read the books or something, I probably would like the first book better. It's just more up my alley than more of a noir crime sort of film. So,
and one other thing too that I was going to bring up, in regards to TV shows and stuff, and I'm not holding my breath on this, but it looks like somebody, again, because we had a scrapped Dark Tower series that was, they did a pilot and it got scrapped. Like we never even got to see it make the light of day. And apparently there's another one in the works. So we'll see. I would really like to see that become a series. Like I want to see how that's done, if they can stay honest to the books. But
is it Idris?
No. No, it's going to be some
world
trans. Like
the worst in the history of the world is to cast Idris in that role. He's like nothing like the description. But
No,
still,
it needs to be like a John Wayne, Clint Eastwood character is what it needs to be.
dude, if Clint Eastwood in his prime would have been the perfect gunslinger,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because that's what he looks like, a gaunt, which that gaunted face, fucking tall, creepy, fucking just fucking tough ass dude.
Yeah, man, he's got to be on the edge of insanity and like,
Yeah.
like he's got to, yeah, I don't know. And I'm curious, I don't know what the casting will be. And we'll have to see, because they may try and make the pilot and then they may scrap it just like they did with the last one, because I really wanted to see that last one. Did you read Wizard and Glass?
I haven't finished it, no.
Okay. Because like that was where the other one was going to start, was with Wizard and Glass, and I was kind of curious to see how that was going to kind of shape up. Just because to me, like, that's one of the best, Roland stories is the Wizard and Glass story. And
Yeah.
again, because that's another world that I would love to see how it was kind of working before it all kind of fell apart.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that happens.
Should be cool. Like, just at least the idea that it's out there is neat, but, holding my breath for stuff that actually comes out that's good. They're like remaking Hercules again for the 100th time. I think it's Michael B. Jordan.
God.
I don't know.
What? He's Hercules?
Apparently, man. But he was also rumored to be Superman, so I don't know what's going on, dude. I don't fucking know. The last Hercules I saw was the Rock one, and that was good enough. It was fine. It was fun for what it was. I think someone like Jason Momoa, they should be Hercules. Just thought it seemed more Herculean to me. I don't know though. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm blown away with some of the decisions that are being made in Hollywood anymore.
Yeah, it's strange. We have more Walking Dead coming out. I thought that was dead, but
Oh God, no, it's Walking Dead.
yeah,
Like, I stopped watching that, like, I don't know how long ago. It was after Coral died.
Coral. I think I checked out after Shane left the show.
Oh, so you checked out like when season 3?
Yeah, and then it just got stupid. I know it just became they had to create they did the same thing you're talking about with Karate Kid. They had to create conflict for no reason, just to drive a story, because living off the fame, dude. Yeah, I don't know. So they're still doing that. That's good. I hope they make a lot of money. Yeah, that's about it, man. There's a whole bunch of shit out there you can look up on Movie Insider, Screen Rant, your favorite sites to look, and you will see your favorite shit.
I got a question for you, because we were going to talk about this yesterday. So before we wrap for the day, tell us about Palworld.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, Palworld. So that is a game right now in early access, $26 on Steam. So if you have $26, you can go without 2 coffees and a croissant. You can get that game.
God, it's I said you're absolutely right, because that shit's expensive anymore.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that shit's stupid. Especially the new non-inflation, because they're not in inflation this year for taxes and stuff. It's crazy as fuck. But digress a bit. So, Palworld, you don't have taxes, I promise you, yet. But they haven't instituted tax yet, so I think you're good. But maybe you have a tax on collecting pals soon. I don't know. So, you have a character, right? And it opens up to lore, and you don't know what that lore is, except for the tree is the key. That's essentially what it says. And I won't go into it, but this little tiny cutscene in the very beginning, you wake up to all these little fucking creatures around you, and then you stand up and the creatures run away, and then like there's this iPad looking thing, and it says like the tree's the key sort of thing. I won't jump into any more of the lore. Now, you're walking around in this unfamiliar land. Mind you, this map is pretty goddamn big. It's pretty large. So it's actually very large. I've not even gotten close to exploring all the map. But it's open world. You go anywhere you want at any time. There's no loading screens. There's no stop here, stop there. The only time there is loading is when you go into dungeons, because there are dungeons and there are boss fights that you do inside of the actual open world game. but they're also open world bosses that just walk around too. So you have all of the above. To digress a bit from that, essentially what you do is you play Pokemon, right? But you're not playing Pokemon. You're doing a little more adult stuff with these creatures. So you're essentially in this world that you have pals, right? That's what they're called. They're not called Pokemonsters. They're called pals. And they look like, if you ever play Pokemon, that's what they look like. The derivative of these designs, a lot of them are taking some liberties here on purpose and changing the names to make it cheeky to Nintendo. But just enough to where I don't think Nintendo can stand on anything that they're going to be able to sue them.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious on that because I hadn't seen a whole lot of it, and I pulled up some images and I'm like, holy shit, that does look like a Pokemon.
Yeah, they have like a Pikachu character, and I'm just like, that's fucking hilarious. But
they're just different enough, is what you're saying, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. The game is completely different. This is a building sim as well. It's a survival game. You have to eat or you'll die. If you get too cold, you will die. If you get too hot, you will die. If you catch on fire, you will die. If you don't have the right clothes on, if you don't eat this certain type of food, mind you, you can create food. And then it's not just to keep you sustained. You can create meals that will buff things, make you stronger, make you faster, all that sort of thing. Make you work harder. Because yes, you will have to work. You will be able to work whilst also enacting a rule of benevolence towards your pals to do your bidding or slave them. Sure. You make them work and they sleep on little beds. If you have beds, they're happy, they're workers, and they actually have their own attitude. So each character has its own attitude, and within that attitude, each character can develop traits. So let's say you got a pal, your favorite pal, like it's I don't know, let me just think of a quick pal right now that I know. A depresso is one of them, and it's a depressed, imagine that. It's a depressed sort of, I don't know what word I'm looking for is. Anyways, it's this little dog-looking thing. It's not really a dog. Walks on two legs. It's kind of like a human dog. And their name is Depresso, and they'll walk around sort of mopey. But they have very strong attack, and they shoot out they have darkness type. Long story short, what I'm getting at is all of them have darkness type. That is what makes them Depressos. They are part of the darkness type in that world. However, you can catch one, and it may have darkness type and a different move set, and also it can develop traits or has traits, like a motivational trait. So if you have him in your party, you move 5% faster. If you have him out in the world with you, saying that you have maybe a burly trait, so he's just bolstered a little bit more. Now, let's say you've had him out and he's constantly getting beaten to the point of death, or he's constantly getting injured and you have to heal him up. He can develop traits during that too. So they can develop a trait where they're easily, they have like thin skin to where they take hits. They take more damage on being hit. So things can develop as you play with them. And you have a camp. So you build your camp, and within that camp, you can do whatever you want to do. Build stuff for them. You can even make spas and shit so they have less stress, because they will stress out. And if your pals stress out, they're not going to work harder. So if you need a lot of wood and they're not fucking chopping down trees, then you can fucking put it to them, make them chop down trees faster, or you can butcher them and eat them. You do that too. Yeah, you definitely do that too. There are humans in this world. I think they're humans. They look human enough. You can enslave them too. So if you get them low enough and you have a strong enough ball, then you can enslave humans too. Because once you trap them in your ball, they're no longer humans. They become pals, and so they're exactly like your other guys. Although they're extremely weak. So doing that is just like for meme wise, but you have your base. You'll get raided by different groups. It's pretty funny actually, because you have like the free pal initiative group is raiding you, and you'll just see a bunch of people who are trying to free the pals, and they come try to raid you, and you'll see like the the adoration group of like PAL lovers will come try to raid you and shit, or like the syndicate will come. People try to raid you. They're NPCs. However, this is a multiplayer game, so you can create your own world and create your parameters. There's a lot of parameters to create. You can really, really buff and change how your world interacts with the people. And you can set it for multiplayer. I don't know exactly how many people you can put on your server. I'm thinking, I don't think it's 30, or maybe I heard that, but I know at least 5, and maybe a 30 is the max. But I know at least 5 people can join your server. And doing that, when you're online, they're going to have access to the world. Meaning, like, if you're not online and your base is unprotected, they could go fuck your shit up and take your shit, or get fucked up by your people who are there, because your pals are still going to be in your base, protecting your base, assuming you have your base set. Long story short, you're in a survival game with non-Pokemon pals, and your goal is the tree, which you can see in the background, which I've made an attempt to get to and cannot get there just yet because I don't have a saddle on my flying character that I trapped, or that I caught. I won't say trapped.
Yeah.
That caught, because I don't have the technology yet to build the saddle until like I'm a higher level. Because you don't get to just start building whatever the fuck you want. It has a progression system, and that progression system is behind a wall of things you have to do. You have to build this, you have to build that. You have to learn this, you have to learn that. You actually can't learn a lot of different technologies until you've actually done stuff. So you may have to capture certain pals in order to learn the technology that they have in order to create a saddle for your specific pal, or in order to create a rock crusher to bring down certain materials out of your rocks in order to make ore or to make different shit, right? You won't know about that until you've caught a certain pal that has that ability. So you're locked behind your exploration. So the more exploration you do, the better. The worst thing about it, or the hard thing about it, is you try to do more exploration. This is an open world game with fast travel points. However, there's a big space in between fast travel points. So let's say you perish. If you perish, you are respawned at a respawn point. All your shit is gone. So you have to go get it.
I'm like, so is it kind of like Dark Souls in essence, where you got to get back to that point where you die to get your stuff back?
Or take an L and try to create new stuff. However, the stuff that you're going to want to take on you when you go on long trips is very expensive to make and is time consuming, because it takes real world time to do shit. So when you want to go craft something, you have to literally hold down your button to craft, which I'm using the F button for my crafting. I don't know that you can change key binds right now, but you have to sit there and wait. And some things can take upwards of 5 minutes of you just sitting there, unless you have pals, and the pals can come help you. But not all pals, because they have to have the certain type that will want to help you, because not all pals are going to want to help you cook food because they don't have that typing. Not all pals have fire, so they won't be able to stoke the forge. You see what I'm getting? Not all pals have water, so they're not able to spin windmills to produce electricity or to produce power for whatever you're trying to power.
Right. So elements kind of still play into.
Oh yeah, yeah, huge. Each element is going to have its own specific help, and by diversing yourself in all these elements, you're going to have a more sustainable ecosystem, like where you're living at, where your base is, and you can have multiple bases, which is really good. But you get multiple bases as you progress. You only start with one base, but you can put that base anywhere. Let's say you start the game and you just fucking hightail it as far as you can and get somewhere. You can plop your base down in a spot of level 30s, and by that time you'll be like level 3 because you just gain experience. But you can go anywhere and put your base, but you run the risk of getting fucked over by a giant dinosaur. So let's not get that twisted. Like, motherfuckers are walking around here, unlike Pokemon, they will fucking kill you, and pretty easily too. Like, one shot you from a distance, you don't even know what killed you. Yeah, and then you'll see this big giant lizard walking by, like, oh yeah, that's probably why I died. So there's all kinds of different shit you could do, and different fun stuff you can mess with. I've restarted my game like 4 different times because I keep fucking off. Once I get to like level 20, I'm like, yeah, I want to go explore, and then I end up losing like shit that that took me so long to fucking craft and build that like it's not even worth trying to get back there. Because if you get lost, if you get caught in a place that has heat resistant, that you need to have heat resistance or cold resistance, or there's giant fucking pals running around that will fuck you up from a distance, and you aggro them just because they're fucking hunters. They're like wolves and shit out there. There's like gorilla. Dude, it's fucking wild. I haven't even seen all of them yet, but yeah, you're going to go out to do these things and you're going to get caught up, and it's going to be almost impossible to get back there unless you spent almost the same amount of time building the things up to go get the things that you already have built over there. So you have to be careful about your travels unless you have proxy bases close to other fast travel points. But that's been my biggest Achilles heel, is going into places where extreme weather exists, because once you lose that protection, you fucking die quick, man. And this game is stamina based, so you will run out of stamina trying to sprint and climb and jump and attack. So if you run out of stamina, you're just screwed. If you're in water and you run out of stamina, you drown. So, and there's a lot of fucking water. This is an archipelago. Within this area, it's mostly water. So it's pretty intense, man. It's not the hardest game in the world, but it's hard enough and compelling enough for me to want to continue to play and find out about these different pals. It's really cool. So like, I know I have in my new playthrough, really quickly, I have these, I think they're penguins. I can't remember their exact name, but they're penguins, right? Essentially. Mm-hmm. But they're ice water. So what they do is they're going to water my crops for me when I'm not around to continue the production of their own food, so I don't have to feed them. And they're going to power the cooler, which keeps the food colder and fresher longer. So I need those two. Within those, I have two of those doing those tasks. Both of them are completely opposite. They're the same exact, but they're completely opposite. One of them has a lazy trait, and the other one has a hard worker trait. And one of them has I don't know if it's Burley, I can't remember the name of it, a Burley trait, and the other one has a neurological disorder, eating disorder. It's like these are the things that the game does. And if they have an eating disorder, they will fucking slack off and they will eat too much and become tired and lazy, and then they're less productive. So you have to be careful on how you treat your fucking dudes, because they will develop disorders and shit. But it's funny because they have their own little ways that they move about, and you'll see them like working and shit, and they're just working slow and disinterested looking. They're just like hammering down, like really disinterested looking, while others are just like fucking going to town with the fucking axe, just fucking getting all the wood they can. It's very interesting. This is a smaller studio, and people have been blaming them for using AI for their coding, and then none of it's true. By the way, it came out. That was just all rumors because people couldn't believe that this game came out without the backing of like a major studio. So, yeah.
Nice. So, I mean, and from what I'm seeing from this video footage, it looks like Valheim meets Fortnite, because it looks like there's guns, right? And then it's like Pokemon, and then a little bit of Legend of Zelda, and it looks like there's just a big old mash of cool looking things. It sounds like they've taken some of the best elements from each one of these series and kind of put it together.
Yeah, it's definitely whoever made this, the people who made this, they love these types of games, and they wanted to create a game that was fun for them, and subsequently is going to be fun for a lot of people, I think. I hope people like it.
It looks like a kind of a natural evolution of Pokemon in a way.
I think so. It's fun, dude. It's not polished, and it's early access. It's still being worked on, but I've already got 3 updates, and it's been out less than a week. So like they're fucking pushing to make, and they're listening to feedback, and they're noticeable. Like I've seen major changes to the shit. Like we're talking like big downloads. So like it's helping. Like, but the game is playable, sustainable. I haven't had one single crash. I haven't had one glitch outside of glitching into things. But that's my fault for doing dumb shit, trying to go places that I wasn't ready to go because I didn't have a flying mount, or I didn't have the stamina, so I would do dumb shit and then get caught. But yeah, it's fun, dude. I think people will really enjoy it for $26 and the time. If you're willing to put in a little bit of time in the game and just see what it's about, you'll probably be impressed. enough. The graphics are good enough. They're solid, man. It runs smoothly. I don't have any stuttering issues. I don't have to. My computer doesn't rev up. Like, it's not taxing. So it's solid, man. It's fun. The flavor text in the game are really fun. So that's something to explore. Like I'm excited to find new pals because they're all gonna have flavor text. When you catch them, they say something, and then when you release them for the first time to fight, they also say something else, which is really funny. One of my favorites is the monkey. I don't know exactly the flavor text for the monkey, but essentially it's a primitive species who started using their hands and tools to protect themselves and do all these things, and they're like very docile or whatever, and then they became very aggressive when they found out that they can use guns. So it's essentially, yeah, and you can have them and they'll walk around with a machine gun and shit. I haven't gotten to that point, but you can have a flamethrower where you're holding this fox that's a flamethrower, and you're essentially holding its tail and its head in your hands, and you're just like using it as a flamethrower. Yeah, you have this squirrel on your head shooting dual fucking pistols.
That's
pretty funny, dude.
No, that sounds really fun. You'll have to keep us updated as you kind of progress through this.
Well, yeah.
To continue.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up today?
No, dude. I said it all. You've said it all. We've talked about it over here. We've talked about it over there.
So, well, thank everybody for listening, and we will talk to y'all soon.
Well, man.